Welcome back again to Throne and Liberty. So you've just hit level 50, or maybe you've been level 50 for a few days. What should you be doing every day? How do you get better gear? How do you get stronger? We're going to be going after things in this video and how to make your character and account better every day. If you are stuck, or maybe you just want a few new tips, we're going to be going after it. I hope this video helps, and if it does, please drop a like down below and subscribe for more videos. We're also going to be doing a 1,000 Lucent giveaway. All you got to do to enter is just leave a comment down below, and I'll be choosing a winner very soon. So we are in the game right now, and first things first, what you want to do is figure out what weapon and playstyle you are going to be playing as. For me right now, I'm playing as a Greatsword and also a Dagger build. This is very important because when you are going to be grinding the game, these are going to be quite important because you want to upgrade the weapons that you want to use as your build. This is going to be important because the contracts and the rewards we're going to be getting from playing the game is going to increase your damage output with the build you're going to be using. There are many builds in this game. You can do greatswords with daggers, bows, just choose your build. If you guys want an amazing build with greatswords and daggers, I already have a video that explains on how to get everything. It's a pretty damn good build. So first things first, figure what weapons you want to be using. So once you figured out what weapons you're going to be using, now it's time to start upgrading. Now, best way of doing this is actually going to one of the towns. I really like Watcher's Post. If you just come over here and talk to this guy right here, if I can just quickly find him, there, the contract manager, Felix. Now, the reason why we want to talk to him is because completing these contracts at level 50 will give you some pretty damn good loot. For example, these training dues, they give you 10,000 points and also some other upgrading materials in order to use that to craft and create new weapons. For example, the training dues, how do you use them? Well, if you go to your inventory and if you have a training due and you use it, it actually does this. If you go over to your skills page and this is your weapon mastery, this will give you even more damage for your weapons. Now, for example, with my greatswords, I'm actually ranking it up by doing these contracts in order to give me a higher damage. If you go to your character info in the bottom left, you can actually see your stats. By giving yourself a bigger upgrade on your weapons that you're going to be using by completing contracts will give you a higher damage, allowing you to do your dungeons. So while doing your contracts and upgrading your weapons and getting a higher damage, combat power, you can actually go ahead and do your co-op dungeons. These will give you even better loot. You can see in the bottom right, your dimensional contract tokens costs 300 to enter this dungeon. At the top, you can see your dimensional contract tokens. You get 900 every day, allowing you to do about 3 of these dungeons every day. What I recommend doing is actually going to the party board once you do have the required combat power. For this one, it's 1600. So go to the party board, go down to the Cave of Destruction, for example, and you can reset. You can go ahead and request to join some of these players. Now, you can also do it by doing party matchmaking, but this one is kind of random, and the players that do this aren't going to be the best group because some of these bosses do actually have a death mechanics will wipe your entire squad. So going into the party board, these players more or less know exactly what they're doing. So that is what I recommend doing every single day. Going into your dungeons, for example, your Spectre's Abyss will cost you 120. You can get some pretty good loot from here, blues and also greens. The further you go down, the harder difficulties, starting from the Death's Abyss, you can start getting some purple gear and more as well. So go ahead and do these every day. 3 a day will give you some pretty good loot as well to increase your character. If you are going for a greatsword and dagger build, I highly recommend doing the Butcher's Canyon for this greatsword, the Duke Magnus Fury Warblade, and also the Cave of Destruction for these Lucretius's Wicked Thorns. Those are amazing. Alright, so another important thing that you must do every day that a lot of people just completely forget about or just have no idea it exists. What you want to do is go over to a town, for example, the Watcher's Post is where I am right now, and there's these guys right here called the Sundry's Merchants. Every town has one more or less, and what you want to do is go to them. These are going to give you weekly and daily items. These scrolls are limited to 6 every week. I've already bought them out, but make sure you buy them because they give you unreal loot. I'll show you exactly on how to use these right now. Next up, you want to buy your daily limit of your eggs, your golden rice, and also your honey. These are used to craft items as well, and they are daily limited, so make sure you just buy them out as well. You're going to use them later. Next up, how do we use these scrolls? Well, they're actually pretty useful, and you're going to be surprised exactly how they work. What you want to do is go ahead and just use the scroll that you bought. So what you want to do is just right click on the scroll that you bought, like this, and it's going to tell you where to go. For this one, it's in the Shadow Crypt, and basically it tells you to collect dark magic books from dark wizards, kill 22 of them, interact with Mana Flame, and the rewards for completing it is this. This is very important, the Precious Blessing Pouch. It's going to give you these items. One of these items, okay? It's random. You could get the Greatsword of the Banshee, you can get some purple armor, some blue armor that's going to be absolutely amazing, and it's pretty simple. And obviously they do have a weekly limit, so make sure you complete these and buy them. So something else a lot of people just don't necessarily use for some reason is this. In the top right, this is your Amatoi Expedition. These guys will farm things for you. Go ahead and go to your Amatoi house. Alright, so in here, you can send these little guys to do farming for you for like salt and other important items. So this guy, I let him go farm for me. He brought me back some pretty cool loot. You can claim your reward and you can actually go ahead and send these little guys to different parts of the map to do some farming for you. So for example, I can send them off to do some more farming for me, and more areas will give you different types of loot as well. So in these areas, you can get some like salt and honey and other items that you can go ahead and use. You don't have to farm for yourself. I know some of these items drop from like lower level enemies and mobs that you don't really want to kill them yourself. So you can go ahead and set it to like 8 hours and just let them farm. So just click on this guy. You can tell him to go farm right here for 8 hours, and you can begin expedition and just leave him to farm for you. It's pretty cool. Another important thing about contracts, once you do complete them, you're also going to be getting these, your contract tokens, your Abyssal contract tokens. After completing 40 contracts, you will get 40 Abyssal contract token points, and these are used to get something very important. Let's go have a look at exactly what that is. So for example, once you do have 40 of those coins, then you can come over down to Stoneguard Castle, for example, and you speak to the Senior Accessories Crafter. You can actually use those. For example, you can buy this, the Precious Epic Equipment Chest Tyrant. These, you can actually choose a purple gear from them. So for example, if you go to this one, you can get your Stormbringer crossbows, your staffs, and other items as well that you can actually choose what item you want from them, like the Greatsword of the Banshee. All you gotta do is just complete 40 contracts, come here, use your Abyss currency to open one of these chests and get some purple gear. Do this like every day. Another very important mechanic in this game is cooking. You guys probably haven't cooked anything just yet, but let me show you how important it is. Remember when we said to buy your eggs? There's their own daily limits. A lot of these items are going to be used to craft some pretty good items, especially for your end game dungeon farming, for example. Like, for this one, it's going to give you all heavy attack chances up 60%, and some other ones like health recovery, durations, Solent bonus, you get more gold for upgrading your purple gear. Even if you have millions of gold, that's going to come down to 0 very quickly when you're upgrading purple items. So making these are definitely very, very important. Just craft these, so like health regen, some of these are going to give you all critical hit chance goes up by 60. Some of these are very important for your end game farming, so make sure you do craft some of these items and start cooking. For example, the attack remedies is going to give you damage dealt by 20%, and that can also last a while. These are damage taken, yeah, so these are very important, and make sure you craft them whenever you can. Next up is your open world and random events that you can get some pretty good loot at as well that you want to do daily. If you open up your map and go over to timetable, you can actually see when these bosses are going to be in the game. For example, right here at around 3 PM, we have the Peace Cornelius boss that's going to be spawning. He's going to give you expected your rewards, some purple gear you can have the chance of dropping. Also, when it says conflict right there, conflict, that means it's also PvP as well as, you know, doing the boss as well. So be careful of those when they say conflict. That will include PvP. So make sure you have a look at the timetable. Let's say that you finish work at 3 p.m. and you're ready to play around 9 p.m. for about an hour. That will give you time to do some of these bosses. Go ahead and make sure you keep an eye on your map and also your timetable for those really good items that can be dropped from open world random bosses. Something very important, it's not necessarily something that's going to be completed daily, but your weekly challenges must also be completed every single day, or at least worked on every single day. Some of these can actually be completed every day. For example, use a dimensional contract tokens. These can be completed in one day. So make sure you actually do focus on these, because every single one does give you some purple gear, something else for you to focus on every week and every day to just give your character an overall account better gear and more power. So make sure you do focus on these. They are very important, and you don't want to miss out a week where you can get some pretty easy, very good loot. And that is pretty much it for what I wanted to give you guys in this video today. If you want more tips on how to increase your character and overall account, more power, how to farm certain items, purple gear, blue gear, materials, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be sure to upload those kinds of videos for you guys as well, and we'll maybe make another list for you guys to do every single day. Apart from that, hopefully this helped to give you guys a better insight on what to do in the game, something to do every single day in order to keep grinding and to get into the higher end game farming areas and loot searching and stuff like that. But anyway, this is going to help you guys a lot. Let me know down in the comments if it does, and I'll see you all very soon.